Alright, so my fellow Saturn in Pisces. I feel like I wanted to record this video after the Chiron video I made, because Chiron and Saturn are the most impactful in my life, and I discovered astrology also during my Saturn return, so it has been very like the main focus. Saturn for me as an archetype is the inner disciplinarian. The keywords, just repeating them and showing that you have a memory, for me it doesn't resonate. It just shows me that you have done your homework, but it doesn't show that you have a deeper understanding in my eyes. So for me, I would more prefer to talk about it as archetypes. And that is the whole thing about my channel. I find that looking at astrology through the lens of archetypes is much more efficient and helpful. So for me, the archetype, the explanation of the archetype is the inner disciplinarian that has cultivated during our years, during our conditioning. And from you were very young to your Saturn return, you get disciplined by your parents and your society and your surroundings and your teachers and friends. And that voice, those experiences that you have where you're either praised or you're shamed for doing something that challenges the status quo, that is the conditioning that is personalized in your incarnation. And that is basically how I see Saturn. So it is that conditioning that is personalized from your memories and experiences while you grew up. And it's a lot of karmic conditionings, since your mother and father are the first archetypes of Mother Nature and God, basically, like mom and dad. So your relationship to them and their traumas are passed on to you, and that's what your soul has to deal with, partially. And depending on the zodiac sign, that is the flavor or the quality, the lens that you experience this Saturnian energy through. And once you have it in Pisces, I really like this placement. Like I think it's a very good placement to have. I feel a bit blessed for it, actually. And my interpretation is that if you look at the shadow sides, the more negative aspects of the sign Pisces, and you look at the positives, I would say that that is what Saturn is challenging you to differentiate. So if we think about, for example, the main association I have with Pisces is that it's a very soulful sign. It is very in contact with other realms. It's very spiritual. But that can also mean, like you probably heard if you watched a lot of Pisces videos, you know that Pisces have a tendency to daydream. And why do we do that? It's because our intuition and our fantasy is very screwed up. It's very high. And we like it so much that we can become the more shadow sides of Pisces energy, which is this like daydreamer, scatterbrained, kind of like almost clumsy. Could be a shadow trait. And how this could then be balanced and be more of the positive side of Pisces would be that you have a more integrated way of doing it, because everything in moderation is basically key to life. Everything in life strives for homeostasis, it strives for a balance. So if we remember that as like a spiritual law, that is how universe, if we look scientifically, how it operates. And it's the same with all aspects in our lives. So to balance those shadow sides of being caught in our daydream and having resistance to the physical world because we want to do and be so much in the spiritual, Saturn is here to balance that. And during your Saturn return, it can be amplified. For example, during my Saturn return, I have had a lot of more awareness during this period of how much I am actually stuck in this other realm in my mind, in my fantasy, even when I interact with people, but also when I'm just doing whatever. And it's such a, like, it can be so difficult for a Piscean person to be actually present. And I would say that is what would counterbalance this energy of the stuck in the other realm and grounding us more in the physical. I don't know why this makes me so out of breath. I'm currently in my loft and there's not so good... It's not such a good like ventilation in here, and I have this light as well, which makes it very hot in here. So maybe that's why this is like my first video experimenting filming in my attic, in my like new loft. It's like not fully painted and ready, but I still want to try and film here because this is like the vision that I have, that I want to do YouTube videos in my personal loft with my books in the background, my Piscean like escape place. So it's very fitting to do the video here. So a very good indicator for someone with Saturn in Pisces is whenever you notice that you you do something quickly that hurts you, or you like stumble when you walk somewhere, or like have these small moments when you're kind of like clumsy. That's a really good indicator to get that in your head, that now I am somewhere else, now I'm not present. And having that be the reminder that happens time and time again until you always connected with, oh, okay, I need to be more grounded. I am too much in the other realms now. And other realms can be even thinking of something, even though it's a very like air quality, and Piscean energy is water, but it also is that the scenarios that we have in our minds are a lot of thought after, like daydreamy type of scenarios in our head. And as a person with Pisces, it's very likely that you have a tendency to think about how you want things to be. And having Saturn here is lucky because it will teach you, if you're open and spiritual, it will teach you and be more receptive towards learning how to have structure if you do your work, basically. And that is what the Saturn return is for. It's giving you more opportunities to really like challenge this aspect of yourself. And depending on how you respond, that is, it will show your growth. So being present can anchor you in having that spiritual richness that you have inside and bringing it to the physical world and experiencing that richness in an external form, not just within, even though it's very important for a person with Pisces to have that rich inner world as well, because it is what Pisces crave. And what I mainly want you to get out of this video is that Saturn in Pisces is beneficial. It can be. Saturn is not happy in Pisces, but there is potential to go to the more positive traits of Pisces with the Saturn energy. And it always turns out how you perceive things. So just because someone says, an astrologer says that Saturn in Pisces is not a good placement, it all depends on how you look at it. It can be so rewarding. It can be what Pisces needs. So mindfulness and awareness, and having that as a practice with doing things that are in your body, basically, because your imagination is a lot like it's your if you're unbalanced, your thoughts can get tugged with the imagination, and you're very much in your like fantasy, your subconscious. But if you also anchor in the same way with mindful activities, with activities that are in your body, and you start to integrate activities that hence your interoception, and interoception is your body senses talking to your conscious mind, and that you can strengthen with activities such as yoga or meditation or conscious walks, or doing things slowly so that your body can keep up and you're not tugged along with your thoughts. So anchoring, that is maybe the key word from this video that you should take with you for Saturn in Pisces. And using your clumsiness as an indicator if you're stuck in your imagination. That is like a Saturn push for you to like snap out of it, like wake up, be present. It's a very good like indicator. And when that starts to happen more and more, I sometimes like talk to my higher self. I'm like, okay, I get it. I need to slow down. I need to like, yeah. If you can relate, please comment below and tell me how you experience Saturn in Pisces, and if you view it as a good placement or not. I love my Pisces energy. It's such a like loving, merging energy that is so filled with love. So super grateful for this placement, and I hope you are too. And if you weren't before, I hope this gave you some light towards what it could be. And thank you for watching.